Hi, you guys. Thanks for joining me for the recap gossip dump for this week for Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 13, episode 10. I'm not going to lie. I was a little preoccupied with the Patreon content this week. We are going deep on Big Kathy, deep on Paris Hilton, deep on the Hilton family in general, and I'm about to introduce a new character that nobody even knows about in this space that's going to blow people's mind, much like House of Hilton did. And this Sunday, I'm about to interview like a god in this space in terms of scandals. So let me just tell you why I'm so excited and why I wish you would sign up for the Patreon, at least for this month. Is that this gentleman is not only a New York Times best-selling author, but he's an expert at so many scandals from interviewing people who were involved at the time. And so, for example, the Paris Hilton sex tapes, he interviewed the people involved with that and the different allegations that were being made on the several different sex tapes. He studied Joe Francis's kidnapping and heard all about that. He viewed the tapes that were taken of Joe Francis at the time that they tried to bribe him with. He's done and studied the deep underbelly of Scientology. He's looked into the Bill Cosby case in depth. He's familiar with all of the people that we're watching on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but things that like have been lost over the years. He knows. Heidi Fleiss, you name it. He's got the keys to the city. And I've got the knowledge to know what to ask him to get the keys. So I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. Okay, back to you two. So a few things. Bravocon's been announced. It's going to be in Las Vegas in November. And if you stay at one of the hotels, which I'm not going to promote because I'm not going, nor am I involved with Bravocon, but if you do, and of course Lisa Vanderpump is related to one of them, of course, you'll get special perks and benefits if you're going to Bravocon. So please do make sure you stay in one of those hotels if you go, and don't miss out on that extra bonus, because I'm sure it's going to be related, at least on one of the hotels, to Lisa Vanderpump's restaurants and stuff, which you guys might really want to do. Also, take a little piece of me with you there and show that you're a renegade. Wear my shirt or hoodie. Oh, hoodie's too hot. Wear my shirt. This is a good one for Vegas. Okay, so one piece of gossip that I saw came from Dina Manzo's channel, and she explains in her very spiritual way about why her and Dolores are sort of estranged from each other. So let me share you that really, I'm going to cut it down because it's very long-winded clip.
Dolores and I have been in the same room since our falling out of friendship. We didn't have this huge fight. We both saw each other at Teresa's mother's funeral. She was talking about Frankie. Little Frankie was doing something in California. I said, let him stay with me. Cordial, very nice. I was happy to pick up where we left off. Yeah. I saw her one other time, I guess at Lauren's wedding before I left abruptly. Not about me and Dolores needing to be in the same room and what's going to go down. Yes, her and Dolores have known each other for 20 some odd years, but they weren't friends. Like Teresa and I have been friends. They were acquaintances, and they became close once she started filming for the show again. Friends since we're 20 something years old. Dave and Louie are very close. And I assume she knew that they wanted Dave and I in the engagement party and the wedding party as well. I said to her again, T, I know I said this before, and I'm not going to lie. It wasn't just this. It was, again, my fears were coming up. And listen, there's some people that are very intertwined in the Manzo family. Dolores and her family are very much intertwined, and I don't feel comfortable with that. I just don't. Obviously, Dave and I were there for the engagement, the actual engagement. And then Teresa said, Dee, I'm having this party, engagement party, blah, blah, blah. 1,000% want you to have everyone that you want there. I'm going to bow out. Spoke to Louie and she called me back. She's like, Lou and I just discuss it. And you and Dave are close to both of us. This is where the piece at the reunion comes in. She really want people there that know both of us and love both of us. Dolores only met Louie a couple of times. They like each other, but they're not close. That's where that aspect of the reunion came in. Okay. First of all, Melissa, that was not cool that she brought it up at the reunion. I watched people send me clips where she was like, oh, not invite Dolores. Out of blue, like knew it was a tender subject. Yeah, and there were two long tables, and Teresa did not throw this party. I believe it was Louie's assistant that coordinated the whole thing. Okay. She was just kind of putting the family together, and Louie and Dave, Dave's in the bridal party. So that's, I think, why we were at the main table and Melissa was at the next table. It was only 2 tables. So what are you going to stack everybody on top of each other?
Okay. And then, by the way, the gossip related to the fight between Louis Rullis and Dave, Dina's man, that gossip was explained in the live I did with Thea on Sunday. If you want to go watch that and figure that gossip out, it came from a very good source. Look for the part where I say I'm psychic, because usually when I say that I'm psychic, it means I've talked to a cast member. It's this one. Teresa and Louis Rullis were in St. Bart's, love bombing everyone together. Have you guys been to St. Bart's? It's so fun. And there's so many different types of people there. There's lots of wealthy people. There's prostitutes and drug dealers and people looking to scam other people because they can't afford the rich lifestyle that they wish they could, so they hustle people. What else is there? Anything else? I wonder who suggested they go on that trip. Well, Louis Rullis and Teresa have done an amazing job on relaunching Louis Rullis again this year with the help of multiple publicists. And so congrats to that. Imagery like this really helps, right? So anyway, I think everybody's starting to enter the love bubble at this point, regardless of all the crazy stuff this man has done to people. Just saying. Great job, guys. Let me play you this little part of Up and Adam's interview with Dolores and Pauly. I really liked this because I've been dying to know how the hell Pauly made his money. And this was what he said. I have an
electrical contracting company in New York City. I've been in this country for 23 years. Collectively, between anywhere 100 staff to 200 staff, give or take. We work in pretty high-end residential. So being very fortunate to meet some really good people along the way through the network of people that I have here. And, when I came to this country, it was like there's an opportunity here. You're in America. If you're going to make it anywhere, you can make it in America, right? So they're so good they wrote a song about it. And that's what I did. I put my head down. I followed people that I really thought were doing really well. And they weren't afraid to let me know what took them to get there. Some people just don't want you to know. Some people are very know this much, but I'm not going to tell you the rest. The people that I was around were fortunate to me. They let me see the path. And when I got to a point, they said, it's time for you to go do this yourself. And that's pretty much what I done. So, a lot of years, I went to the office at 6 a.m. and I left at maybe 8 p.m. I put a lot of work in. A lot of people helped me. A lot of people support. Still there. And that's pretty much, that's my background, That's what I've done since I came to this country.
He came here really not knowing anyone, and he had to leave his whole family behind. He still has no family here.
Wow. And then I hadn't any family here, but now I've got my beautiful kids, and now Dolores and her extended family. It's great.
So we open up the episode with Danielle Cabral. She's doing a section at Melissa Gorga's Envy store for her bougie kids. The store looks oddly empty in parts, which I don't know if you guys noticed, but it was a little weird. But we also know that Melissa only got, I guess, a piece of the Envy action in return for promoting the store. But it wasn't like she was a proper store owner, in the typical way you would think of it. More like an influencer versus like an owner. But it's funny, and the fans, I'm sure, think it's funny that there were claims made by Chanel. Yep. And she had to talk to their legal team and pull all the merchandise that had Chanel out of the store, even though it was obviously not Chanel. And she had to pay a fine. That was the rumor. I don't know if she paid the fine, but it was definitely something that happened. So it was really funny because the fans found that in Danielle's store, there was also similar like couture knockoff stuff that she was doing on her clothing. And the fans were probably like, how ironic that these two are hosting a pop-up thing together or whatever. So anyway, the two knockoff queens together. Yay! Bravo, you're shady. I know they know that. But on that note, I also got sent a picture of Teresa with a fake Birkin. So, you know, who's faker than who, I guess, in this group. We know the noses are fake. All of them. I think all of them. Jennifer Fessler's whole face is fake now. But it's so cool that she slept with...
Not getting any satisfaction from my work either.
What line of work are you in?
Waste management consultant.
That was cool that she slept with the head of The Sopranos several times, I guess. But it was great that she actually admitted it instead of just teasing it for 9 episodes. And for that, my friend... I am now a fan of Jennifer Fessler, both of her faces. I'm going to be right behind you, Jen. This is not me dragging you. So what ends up happening at Envy really is that Melissa Gorga is asked if she wants to accept an olive branch from Teresa Giudice and be in the wedding as part of the wedding party. And Jen tries to do her best, Jennifer Aiden, to convince Melissa to talk to Teresa and say she wants to be in the wedding. Well, Melissa says, no, I don't want to do it. She's got a lot of pride and she doesn't want to do that. So she's like, no, I just want to leave it alone now and forget about the wedding. And that's it. So Jen's like, okay, but then don't complain about it. And that's, I guess, Jen's position. Then we see all the women packing, getting ready to go to Ireland. Everyone's really excited except Dolores. Dolores is a little scared to take the women out to a rural part of Ireland and have them stay in a castle. She just doesn't know how they'll deal with that, being from New Jersey, and divas at that. So they get onto Aer Lingus and they jump into their business class seats and they take off and go to Ireland. And we don't see much of that aspect of things. The women then arrive and they get on their shuttle bus and they're shuttled off to the castle. This is what the castle looks like. Oh, it's so pretty. And prices start at $3,000 to use it as a location. The castle is 9 bedrooms and over 10,000 square feet. Dolores takes one of the nicest rooms because it's her trip. And she's hosting this bachelorette party extravaganza for Teresa. And Teresa, because she is the bachelorette, gets the other nice room. The rest of the women have to draw their tickets out of a hat or something with their room. And Jen gets the nicest room and she's like, karma, bitches, whatever. Anyway, we then see the rest of the women get their rooms and Margaret ends up in the servants' quarters and so does Melissa. Or not the great rooms. But anyway, Melissa says she doesn't mind because she's going to crawl into bed with someone because she gets scared of ghosts. Now, I love ghosts, and I would have been walking around that house with my ghost app incessantly trying to find them. So I don't know what these women are worried about. I would have been waiting for the Trinity knock and everything. So the women are on edge, and we don't really know why. Seemingly there's nothing going on, but what we don't know is that Margaret's freaking out because she knows her ex-best friend has turned on her and has spilled the beans about a story she told her in confidence about Melissa Gorga kissing a guy 5 years ago in the backseat of a car that her publicist allegedly saw and told her about. So she spills this tea to Laura Lee Jensen, and Laura gets angry at Margaret over a party that she's not invited to by Margaret, but it goes deeper than that. Anyway, she ends up going to lunch with Teresa and Jen Aiden, and she spills the beans. And then Jen's been holding it, but Margaret's freaking out because she knows stuff. and it's going to come out on the show. And she's freaking out because she is close friends with Melissa behind the scenes. So she's like, oh my God, by telling this, I've betrayed my friendship with her. So she's like, Melissa, I've got your back. Don't worry. Just don't get angry with me. If you don't get angry, if you don't act upset, and Joe doesn't act upset, then no one's going to believe it's true. And you know what? On Watch What Happens Live, that's exactly what they did tonight, and it worked. Margaret should be a publicist. She missed her calling. So Jennifer Aydin chooses to tell Danielle Cabral what she heard from Laura Lee Jensen in one of the bedrooms privately. But now we know it's just a matter of time that it's going to come out. Melissa doesn't know what's coming, but it's coming. And so anyway, the fans, I should have specified, find out about the story, but Melissa hasn't had it been called out yet. Now, they all put that aside for a minute and they end up going out partying and celebrating the Bachelorette party, and they end up in the area of Dublin called Temple Bar, which is like a district with lots of bars. And here's one of the more famous ones, which maybe they went to, the Temple Bar in the Temple Bar area. So we get to the Temple Bar, and a few things happen. One, Teresa and Melissa talk about the damn wedding again and her mom not being invited, and basically get nowhere with the same argument we've heard 10 times already. We also find out that Margaret's really volatile, probably because she knows that her ex-best friend told all this gossip, and now these women have arsenal to use against her. So she's panicked. Then we get Jackie trying to make light of things. She doesn't really have anything to talk about. We have Danielle calling Rachel Fuda a rat. Then Jennifer Fessler breaks out into a rap song about Fuda and rhymes everything with Fuda. Fuda, Wuda, Kuda. I'm a terrible rapper. So then Danielle's shady, and she says everybody should send like a naked picture to their man, or do you guys do this? And the women are like, no, hell no, 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 no. And Rachel Food is like, he knows what it is. He's had it for 6 years, so I don't send pictures. Anyway, Danielle really is just making that as an entry point to play a game where she takes a picture of part of her breast, gives it to Melissa Gorga to send to Joe Gorga to see if he knows the difference between Melissa's boob and Danielle's boob. And he does. Ding, ding, ding. Good husband. So now Danielle does not believe the rumor because she's like, he knows her boob, and that means they must have a great relationship. So now it's up to you guys as things go on to see how you feel about it. Melissa said she loved the trip to Ireland, but she hadn't seen the episode, obviously, till 2 days ago. So she was pretty upset to see the edit. But she wanted to watch What Happens Live with Joe united. And so I'm sure this will all mean nothing in the end. Yeah. So the rumors will just keep being out there. So let's talk about it, you guys. Do you think that Joe cheats on Melissa, or do you think Melissa cheats on Joe? Or are they true? And they always have been. I need to know, so comment below. I can't wait to see your thoughts on it. Okay. I'm going back into my Patreon now. Come in the Patreon before you miss the tea of a lifetime. And I don't say that lightly, ever. Ask the Patreons. They know what's coming, especially the diamonds. Whew.